Today our topic is why the Stoics believed in fate. The Stoics were ancient philosophers who believed that everything in life happens for a reason. They thought that the universe is like a big, well-organized system where everything is connected. For them, fate is not something scary or random, but a natural order that guides life. The Stoics believed that fate is tied to the idea of logos, which means a kind of universal reason or logic. They said that logos controls everything, from the stars in the sky to the smallest events in our daily lives. This might sound strange, but the Stoics thought that accepting fate is the key to living a good and peaceful life. Let me explain why they believed this and how it can help us today. The Stoics believed in fate because they saw the world as a place where everything follows a plan. They thought that every event, big or small, is part of a bigger picture. Imagine life like a story in a book. Each page has its own events, but all the pages together make a complete story. The Stoics said that fate is like the author of this book. It decides what happens, but it also makes sure that everything fits together in a meaningful way. This idea can be comforting, because it means that even the hard or confusing parts of life have a purpose. The Stoics taught that instead of fighting against fate, we should learn to accept it. They said that when we accept what happens, we can find peace and strength. One reason the Stoics believed in fate is that it helps us deal with things we cannot control. Life is full of surprises, and many of them are not in our hands. For example, we cannot control the weather, other people's actions, or even some of our own feelings. The Stoics said that trying to control these things only leads to frustration and unhappiness. Instead, they taught that we should focus on what we can control, like our own thoughts and actions. They called this the dichotomy of control. This idea is very practical because it helps us stop worrying about things that are outside our power. When we accept that some things are up to fate, we can use our energy in better ways. The Stoics also believed that fate is connected to virtue. Virtue means living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. They said that these qualities are the most important things in life because they help us live well, no matter what happens. The Stoics thought that fate gives us challenges to help us grow and become better people. For example, if something difficult happens, like losing a job or facing a health problem, it can be a chance to practice courage and patience. The Stoics said that even bad events can be good if we use them to improve ourselves. This is why they believed in fate, because it helps us see every situation as an opportunity to live with virtue. Another reason the Stoics believed in fate is that it teaches us humility. Humility means understanding that we are not the center of the universe. The Stoics said that the universe is much bigger than us, and we are just a small part of it. They thought that fate reminds us of our place in the world. When we accept that we cannot control everything, we become more humble and less selfish. This can help us get along better with others and feel more connected to the world around us. The Stoics believed that humility is a virtue because it helps us live in harmony with nature and with other people. The Stoics also believed that fate is a way to find meaning in life. They said that everything happens for a reason, even if we don't always understand it. This can be hard to accept, especially when bad things happen. But the Stoics thought that even the hardest moments can teach us something important. For example, if we lose someone we love, it can remind us to appreciate the people who are still with us. If we face a difficult challenge, it can help us discover our own strength. The Stoics said that fate is like a teacher that shows us what really matters in life. By accepting fate, we can find meaning even in the darkest times. The Stoics believed that fate is not something to fear, but something to embrace. They thought that fear comes from not understanding how the world works. When we realize that everything is part of a bigger plan, we can stop being afraid of the unknown. The Stoics said that fear is often worse than the things we are afraid of. For example, we might be scared of failing, but the fear of failure can hold us back more than the failure itself. The Stoics taught that when we accept fate, we can face life with courage and confidence. This is because we know that whatever happens, we have the power to respond with virtue. The Stoics also believe that fate helps us live in the present moment. They said that worrying about the future or regretting the past only takes us away from what is happening right now. The Stoics thought that the present moment is the only time we can truly live. They said that fate reminds us to focus on what we can do now, instead of wasting time on things we cannot change. This idea is very useful because it helps us stop overthinking and start taking action. When we accept that the future is not in our hands, we can enjoy the present more fully. One of the most famous Stoic philosophers, Epictetus, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This means that fate decides what happens, but we decide how to respond. The Stoics believe that our reactions are the only thing we can truly control. They said that even in the worst situations, we can choose to act with dignity and strength. This is why they believed in fate, because it gives us the freedom to choose our own attitude. When we accept that we cannot control everything, we can focus on what we can control: our own thoughts and actions. The Stoics also believe that fate is a way to connect with the universe. They thought that everything in the world is connected by logos, the universal reason. This means that every person, every animal, and every event is part of the same big system. The Stoics said that when we accept fate, we feel more connected to the world around us. This can help us feel less alone and more at peace. The Stoics believe that this connection is the source of true happiness. They said that when we live in harmony with fate, we can find joy in the simple things like the beauty of nature or the kindness of others. In conclusion, the Stoics believed in fate because they saw it as a way to live a good and meaningful life. They thought that fate is not something to fear, but something to embrace. By accepting what happens, we can stop worrying about things we cannot control and focus on what we can do. The Stoics taught that fate helps us grow, find meaning, and live with virtue. They said that when we accept our place in the universe, we can find peace and happiness. The Stoics' ideas about fate are still useful today because they help us deal with the challenges of life. By learning from the Stoics, we can face the future with courage and confidence, knowing that whatever happens, we have the power to choose our own attitude.